Bisexual people who have dated both genders. What are some notable differences you've learned about dating both women and men? They both think their signals are clear. They are not. I like this answer. Neither do I. I see what you did there. Bifem. Women like snacks and will usually have snacks. Men also like snacks, but usually would not have them ready. They are more likely to say let's go get snacks. I have found that women keep all sorts of shit on them for emergencies. Hand cream, lip balm, tissues, multiple different types of tablets, tampons, mints, foundation with a little mirror on it and hair ties, but it's all just loose in the bag. Like if you ever need anything, all you got to do is go and find a woman with a big bag and she will sort you out, but it will take her 5 minutes to find it. It's why my purse weighs 20 pounds. There's nothing particularly valuable in there, but altogether it's like a giant Swiss Army bag. Actually, I have a large Swiss Army knife in there. That along with a light jacket, extra masks, hand sanitizer, painkillers, lip balm, Gas X, mini, sewing kit, Imodium, pads, Benadryl, Dayquil, at least 2 different beverages, a water and a diet soda, mascara, lipstick, hand cream, face mist, a few snack-sized candies from Easter, Neosporin, anti-itch cream, hair ties, and condoms. Oh, and a shit ton of receipts. I never clean my purse out. I keep a special case in my admittedly large purse too. I have many of the same things as you, like Neosporin, hydrocortisone, Advil, sunscreen. However, I also keep some pliers and a small leopard print hammer that has several types of screwdrivers in the handle. I was thrilled when I found it and purchased it strictly to add to my emergency kit. Both genders are bad at communicating, but in completely different ways. Men are more likely to not tell you information that would be important to you simply because they do not deem it important. They gave you the important information. If you cannot understand it, then you are either trying to complicate the issue or you are not listening to them. Women are more likely to not tell you information important to them because they see it as obvious. If they have to tell you the issue, then you are not paying attention to them and the issue at hand, or you are not as invested in the relationship as they are. I am a couples counselor. My job security is fantastic. This is one of the best laughs I have had in a while. Thanks. I am a bisexual man. I find the dynamics of trust to be vastly different between my male and female companions. Men have been quicker to trust me, but became more nervous over time. Women needed more time to build that trust, but once it was there, it was solid. I've generally thought of that as not being inherent to their gender and instead tied to how they relate to my maleness. In the same-sex relationships, there's a lot more risk involved because of societal heteronormativity. There's the initial pressure to be out and proud that prompts these men to engage in their relationships with passion. But then there's a worry that the relationship will fail because of the toxic aspect of queer pride. With the women, there's a general fear of violence from men, so there's more caution early on. This is very insightful. Thank you for sharing your experience. One thing I noticed back when I was dating was that women have a lot more baggage when it comes to physical intimacy. Women go through a lot. They have tons of pressures put on them. Many have had negative sexual experiences. It is, well, just more complicated. The guys I dated were frankly much more direct and more simplistic about it. I am not saying either of these descriptions apply to all women or men, but that was my experience. With guys it was like, hey, wanna make out, and just sort of that simple. I did guess it is probably because men do not typically need to associate intimacy with danger in the way women having sex with men do. I do not know for sure, as I am a man, but that could be contributing to it. As a woman, that is definitely contributing to it. For women, sex is wrapped up with so much bullshit. It is wrapped up in the ambient or direct shaming crisscrossed with our sexualized bodies plastered everywhere that we grow up with. It is wrapped up with the adult men who harassed us when we were preteens and teens. It is wrapped up in the frightening moments when a boy corners us thinking he is being smooth when really he has been aggressive and scary. in the nerves about walking alone, in the fear of giving a man the wrong idea and being told it is our fault when he hurts us, in the stigma and burden of unwanted pregnancy and the choices or lack thereof in that. It is really hard for sex to be simple for women. I did bet money that by the time any woman in the world has hit the age of 20, she has a story of being harassed or victimized in some way. It becomes a minefield. So keep in mind that this is my own experience, and is in no way meant to apply to everyone. I am a bi male. Non-sexually, men are much more straightforward in almost every way, everything from what they want to eat, to whether or not they are interested in you. Women rely much more on cues or non-verbal communication. In my experience, gay men have been the least receptive to the fact that I am bi. Straight women tend to be hesitant, but if they have already shown interest in me, they usually are still interested after I tell them I am bi. Sexually, with men it is about finishing, with women it is about the journey. With men, I have had more than one occasion where we are playing video games and someone starts getting frisky. We pause, get each other off, and are back to playing games in like 10 minutes. Women, on the other hand, tends to like getting frisky, then foreplay, then sex, then winding down. It is much easier to find a man to be with than a woman. At least for me, I am below average in the looks department, like a 3, maybe a 4 on a good day. The women who are interested in me tend to be around there, and I have never had an objectively hot one show interest in me. While most of the men I have been with also fall somewhere around there, I have slept with a couple of genuinely hot guys, muscular, tanned, well endowed. There is a certain set of guys that really like chubby guys, and apparently I fit the bill for them. Everyone likes cuddles though. We pause, get each other off, and are back to playing games in like 10 minutes. I always figured bi dudes had it made. It is great. I tend to be more physically attracted to men but more emotionally attracted to women. But I swear the best relationship I ever had was a FWB+ situation I had with this one guy. We were not really dating, but we were kind of using each other for sex until something more permanent came along. I do not really know how to explain it that well. In any case, it is the most stress-free I have ever been in a relationship. Neither was trying to impress or keep the other. We just hung out, played games, watched sports, and ducked. When it ended, we both went our separate ways, and that was that. I do not have large enough sample sizes to make generalizations about entire genders. What I can talk about is myself. So, what I can say is that after having 4 boyfriends, my ability to identify and avoid dangerous men was vastly improved. And my ability to identify and avoid dangerous women was, apparently, not particularly improved at all. I was very attuned to red flags involving sexism and completely unprepared for the fact that a woman who majored in women's studies could perfectly well destroy years or decades of my life with no sexism necessary at all. Real talk right here. Dating a man feels like one of your male best friends decided he likes dick one day. Dating women feels softer, and even though common interests are there, there's more of that listening to their interests because they like it and you are interested in them, and not because you care about the subject at hand. They both still have that same tenderness and butterfly feeling. That's been my experience so far anyways. Best friend likes dick. That made me laugh. I think I would still bug the shit out of him. Laughing. We both lost that gay chicken, ducking loser. Yeah, that kind of teasing is still there all the time, it just leads to extra fun places. The whole base of the relationship is pretty different. Most gay men are into this whole dominate versus submissive thing, and it's a lot of their life personality. With women it's more about just being together, I would say. My personal experiences I am sure are very different from others, but my most notable difference I've realized is that men are going to enjoy doing manly-ish things together, but it's a lot of compromise with women doing what they want and them doing what you want. It's a lot less complicated with men, if I am being extremely honest. It is so funny cause as a woman, I did say the same but opposite as a woman. With women, we enjoy doing more from type things together, whereas with men you have to compromise on, say, pretending you like video games stereotypes, but you get the point. It is a lot less complicated with women. LOL. I loved reading this thread. Right, exactly. It's applicable both ways. You definitely get what I am saying. Well, duck, I wish I was gay. I've always hated the idea that genders had preferred hobbies and interests. I think this is a fake rule, that it's due to societal influences, not genetics, and that we are perfectly capable of enjoying the opposite gender's interests. But I guess at some point I need to concede that maybe it's true, which is sad to me. It is much harder to find a girl who wants to date you than a guy if you are a girl. Either you keep finding straight women, or you both are afraid of being too forward and no one makes the first move. Guys are way less shy about it, but since it is so much harder to get a girlfriend, the relationships with women tend to last longer, because we would not have gotten together if we were not pretty sure we were compatible. Other than that, there is not a huge difference. Individual people are more unique than men are from women, if that makes sense. But I will say I have never had to fight with or teach a woman why something that happened to me was misogynistic. It is more likely that she has experienced something similar. I had the complete opposite. As a bi woman, I could not get a femme lesbian to seriously date me because I could not be trusted not to go back to dick. No amount of reassuring could change their mind. Biphobia is greater in the lesbian community than I think it is in the gay community. There you just get the you will realize you are gay soon enough. Not that that is not equally invalidating of your identity as a bi man. It is all toxic. I love my LGBTQ folks, but damn, it is hard for a bi femme to be included and taken seriously sometimes. Let me love you. One thing about biphobia amongst gay men is that gay men are often attracted to straight acting guys. What is more straight acting than also being sexually attracted to women? For a lot of folks, being bisexual would make a partner more sexually attractive, while simultaneously making them less appealing as a relationship partner. It sounds really tough for men and women both. Bi folks are bi. I hope people get over it. The women I dated were on top of their lives but emotionally all over the place. The men were emotionally more solid but their laundry was everywhere. Well, as a man I can confirm, but I am as stable as a broken chair. Cannot be any more stable than a pile of wood that has already crumbled. I am an IKEA chair assembled by a blind man during an earthquake. This probably is not an accurate representation, but it has at least been my experience. When dating a man, he is very okay with me being bisexual. When dating a woman, it constantly comes up that I am actually straight or just going to leave her for a guy. It is really annoying to have someone try to completely invalidate your feelings for them because of your dating history. Yes, I have dated more men. I did not realize until I had been dating for several years that dating women was a viable option. That seems to be a common thing in this comment thread. Being too gay, not gay enough. This is all based on my own experiences and in no way should be read as sincere and committed observations that apply to everyone. Everywhere, I find men to be more romantic and more interested in monogamy. Women are easier to talk to and easier to argue with and then be able to walk back from the argument sooner. Men are more forward, at least initially. Two girls could have a crush on each other for 10 years and never work up the nerve to mention it. Men usually want to hammer out plans towards the end of a date for the next date, but women are usually more go with the flow, let's see what happens. Oh, and girls are much better at handling rejection and boundaries. Actually, just one much I have had incidents here and there that were pretty awful from girls, but much more often, men are really bad at rejections on any level. I am a bi male, so many times I have been at parties talking to both guys and girls. When a girl comes on to me and I reject them, it is pretty cool and the conversations continue, but for a guy, they will stop talking to me the rest of the night. I wonder if that is because males do not want to come off as that kind of persistent pushy guy we always see portrayed, or just fragility. I distanced myself after rejection because I was not seeking friendship. If there was no possibility for romantic involvement, I was no longer interested. I am sure some men are hurt due to low self-esteem or fragility, and coming off as rapey is always a concern. I've actually been married to both genders, which feels like a crazy thing to say, but I guess not. I am a woman married to a woman. I was married to a man in my very early 20s. To be honest, people are people, and after a certain span of time with someone, the gendered aspect of their behavior doesn't make a notable difference. That being said, the major difference I've noticed has to do with gender roles and communication. With a man, there was definitely more pressure to conform to stereotypical gender roles. For instance, it seemed obvious that my ex would mow the lawn, handle the hard labor stuff, and I'd manage the cooking and laundry. I realize it's not this way for everyone, but in my experience there was an expectation inside and outside of the relationship revolving around expectations and gender roles. This also was evident when communicating expectations about chores. My ex would need to be told, "Please help me with this chore," and then I'd have to explain how to do said chore. It was more of a struggle. In a relationship with two women, this doesn't really exist. There isn't an expectation that one of us does specific chores, whoever is best at that task, or whoever gets there first does it. There's less scorekeeping, less explaining, etc. As for communication, it is easier. In my experience, communicating with the same sex, it's easier to empathize and understand another woman and be on the same wavelength. Explaining things to my ex felt like a translation exercise. Also, women are more vulnerable and open and willing to talk at length about emotions. I think this is likely due to a toxic social stigma that sees vulnerable emotional men as weak. So it would be great if we could raise men without the burden of toxic masculinity. Of course, this is all my experience and others will have different answers. In a relationship with two women, this doesn't really exist, probably due in part to the fact that it's pretty damn hard to adhere to gender roles with two women. You'd be surprised how often people outside of our relationship do try and fit us into a binary. Like, they try to graft the man role onto one of us based on aesthetic reasons or throwaway reasons. I notice it's mostly boomer-aged people who do this. Like, even though we are two women, one of us must default to the male role. My mom's boyfriend, for instance, will ask my wife questions about the grill or the lawnmower, but she doesn't actually know about any of those things. And it's not like one of us is super butch and the other really femme, it's just his weird perception of how our relationship must be. Hopefully that sort of behavior will diminish as time goes on, and y'all can just do as you please without irritation. Bisexual woman who has been in a serious relationship with one straight man and 3 bisexual men, and has briefly dated one bisexual woman. This is just from my experience. But I have noticed a person's sexuality has a decent amount of bearing on their personality too. Straight man, decent dude, but I had a lot of the standard complaints straight women have about their straight male partners: aloof at times, did not always take interest in my interests, often spoke over me and my concerns, etc. The gender roles were more traditional too, at his insistence more than anything. He also held a lot back, so even if something was bothering him, he would not talk about it because he hated talking about his feelings. It was an alright relationship, but it felt very straight. Bisexual men, the best of both worlds, in my opinion. You get the security of a male partner walking with them at night, having backup from creeps in public, etc., as well as the implicit understanding that comes with being with another queer person who get it. They tend to be more secure in their masculinity. One of them loved farmers markets, another asked me to teach him how to crochet. It is very refreshing to be with a guy that is openly himself. They can also get more emotional, both for better and for worse. Bisexual woman, she was more of the bisexual stereotype, of the will take anything that moves variety. She was bright, intelligent, ambitious, and I really respected her work ethic. But she has no interest in settling down romantically. We are still friends, though I keep her at arm's length for my emotions' sake. Since I really liked her, I have yet to date a lesbian in my experience. They tend to look down on bisexual women or a non-binary person, not for lack of trying. I have pursued a few but nothing's stuck yet. But honestly, people are people. Being bisexuals just helped me see that in a more direct manner. Too long didn't read the sexuality of your partner can play a role in their personality and the dynamic of your relationship with them. But ultimately all people are unique. As a straight man, am I supposed to not like farmers markets? Today I learned, laughing, not at all. I should have been more clear. In my experience, straight guys tend to be embarrassed about liking feminine things, and apparently farmers markets are considered girly. But hey, If you are a straight guy and open about enjoying what you enjoy, congrats. That puts you above the cut in my book, lol, I got you. But mark me down as pro farmer's market. I am the one that loves to cook in my relationship, so therefore I am also into going out and finding the best ingredients at the farmer's market. I am a bi woman and I found that women are so much easier to talk to. They usually tell you exactly what they feel when they feel it, mostly because they are either crying about it or shouting at you, laughing. The communication was so much better while dating a woman. I dated only women for the longest time simply because the communication was so much better. Also, women seem to be more romantic and I am a hopeless romantic, so this was always a quick way to win my heart. Both sexes come with a lot of drama, but women tend to be more emotional. Edit, this is just my personal experience. Both sexes come with a lot of drama, but women tend to be more emotional. I sometimes wonder if it is actually the case or if it is just social conditioning of guys being expected not to show their emotions that makes this the case. It starts as social conditioning and then you wake up one day wondering why you cannot cry anymore. Do not do that to me. I do not want to think about that mental block I have. Men are okay with you dating other women, but women are not okay with you dating other men. I had two friends at uni, a guy and girl, who were in an open relationship with each other. The guy was heterosexual, the girl was bisexual. She was totally fine with him sleeping with other girls, hence the openness. And he knew she was bi and said he was okay with her sleeping with whoever, but actually got annoyed if she slept with guys. If she slept with girls, he did not care. Kind of different to your point, but I found it interesting how this heterosexual guy viewed his girlfriend sleeping with girls compared to her sleeping with other guys. I guess he found the idea of her sleeping with girls hot, but got jealous of her sleeping with guys. Hi, I am 17. How do you tell if you're bisexual? Like, for some reason since I was 14 I have always gotten sexual aroused by other men. At first I thought I was gay, then I noticed that I had also gotten horny by females too, then I had just thought that was normal since I was hitting puberty. And as I got older I still feel this way, so got any tips? So is it normal or am I bi? It's all normal. If you are attracted to both, then you are attracted to both. Don't worry about putting a label on it until you think you really want to. Honestly, I date the same type of people across genders, but a notable difference would be their humor. Men laugh at dumb funny stuff and women are more likely to laugh at actual jokes. Seriously, dumb jokes are the best. Both men and women have beards, just in different places. Maybe that should be men have 2 beards, women have 1, women have 2 and men have 3, counting ass hair. Women have ass hair too.